On my recent trip in the United States, I happened to visit a city. And I knew no one there. They told me that they would send a driver to pick me up. But when I got off the plane and I went to the arrivals hall, there were limousine drivers that had they have the sign as to who they were waiting for. I didn't see anybody that had a sign that had my name on it. So for a moment I panicked because I didn't have any information. And then I decided I would look again, and there was a limousine driver that had a sign that said "Rabbit." So I figured that was me. They just missed it by a hair. That's all. So today is a wonderful day. Baruch Hashem, 50 years since the great day of the liberation of Yerushalayim. And I don't see very many of you that were alive when that happened. Certainly not the women. But we had a group from Aish in Shul at Shabbos, young people, and so I mentioned to them that that my experiences on the day that Yerushalayim was liberated. So one of them said that 50 years ago, boy, for Rabbi, 50 years is a long time. I said it isn't if you live the 50 years. It looks like it's a long time, but it's terrifying. So I want to talk to you about 50 years of Yerushalayim and how it affects us and how it challenges us. We live in a very special generation, a generation that, a time that our ancestors they believed, but they never imagined how it would look. Yerushalayim today has very heavy traffic. So I remember that when I came to Yerushalayim with my father, of blessed memory, I'm talking 20 years ago. My father was here in the 1920s. He was a student in the yeshiva then, Rav Kook's yeshiva. So we were in a big traffic jam. What's with the water? Thank you. So it was a tremendous traffic jam. And having lived in New York for many years in the New York area, so I'm nervous. And my father looked around and he said to me, "What a machaya, look at all the cars. Look at all the people." He said, "When I was here in 1925, there was one traffic light in Yerushalayim. The corner of King George and Yaffa was the only traffic light. And the telephone number of the yeshiva was 787. So look what happened to us. We remarked on the way here, the streets are full, bli ayin hara, of people. Kitzon Yerushalayim b'moadeha, the Navi Yecheskel says. It will be filled with people. The city that was desolate. The Ramban was here in 1268. Couldn't find a minyan. You had to go to Shechem to pick up 2 Jews, 2 brothers, and then he went to Hebron to pick up somebody else in order to have a minyan. If somebody would tell the Ramban, 700 years from now there'll be traffic jams, you would look at it differently. Rabos machshovos belev ish v'atzas Hashem hi takum. We see the world one way, but Kavi Yochel Rabboni Shalom, heaven sees it always another way. And that has to do with 50 years Yerushalayim. So I'll tell you, there are byproducts to everything that happens. It's like you take a certain medicine, God forbid, they always tell you the side effects. If you ever read that piece of paper that's in the medicine, you'd never take it. True. The side effects can be lethal. Yeah. And the side effects can be beneficial. There are many medicines that the original purpose was not successful, and it's the side effect that makes it a healing drug. So that's Atzas Hashem Hi Takum. I'll tell you a few things that Yerushalayim did for me, the 6-Day War did for me. The first thing that it did is that it confirmed the Holocaust. No matter how much we speak about the Holocaust, it really is not real. Even if you see all the movies and you go to all the museums, you see all the hair and the toys and the suitcases and the shoes, but it's not real. Because how can such a thing be real? That somebody should come and destroy a whole people. Anoshim, noshim, v'taf. So, for instance, when we read the story in Purim, so it's also not real, right? Okay. He's going to give him a hard time. The 2 weeks that led up to the 6-Day War confirmed the Holocaust. I cannot describe for you the terror that existed in the Jewish world. It was going to happen. And Nasser said openly he's going to drive everybody into the sea. Won't be a Jew left. The 3 Arab armies were all under the control of the Egyptian generals. The Soviet Union had armed the Arabs to the teeth. The major villain, as far as Jewish life is concerned, is not so much Hitler as it is Stalin. It's not so much the Nazis as it is the communists, what the Soviet Union did to us. So what's going to be? Levi Eshkol, who was the prime minister, so he went on the radio and he made a speech, and he couldn't read the words correctly, so he stumbled. You want that from the man who has to lead you into war, that he can't even read the speech right? The chief of staff, Rabin, had a nervous breakdown. So to me, I remember in Miami Beach, the Federation was so desperate to try and put pressure on the American government to do something, that it did nothing. And you shouldn't expect it to do anything. So they said the Rabbonim should go see the clergy of the other faiths to impress upon them the seriousness of the situation, and they should join us in a petition to the local congressman, senator. Florida was not a Jewish place. Most of Florida was restricted. There was no Jews and no dogs. So I went to see the Galach around the corner. And spoke to him for 10, 15 minutes. And then he told me, he said, it's not my business. Doesn't concern me at all. He said, I think it's un-American for you to even bring it up. So the Holocaust was real. It was going to happen. And was there any doubt in anybody's mind if the results would have been different, that it was not going to happen? The Ribono Shel Olam gave us a gift, miracles. I remember when the bulletin came over, the news that the old city had been taken, liberated, and that Rabbi Goren was at the Western Wall, etc. So I was driving an automobile on 37th Street in Miami Beach, about a block and a half from my house. And when that happened, I stopped the automobile and I got out of my car. I don't know why. And I saw there were tens of other automobiles that were stopped. And people got out of the car and they embraced each other. It was an electric moment. You know, we read the words of the prophets of Israel. My eyesight is not what it once was, so I write with a dictating program on my computer. The only thing is the program is slightly anti-Semitic, because whenever I say the prophets of Israel, it spells it P-R-O-F-I-T. But if you read the prophets, you read Yirmiyah, Yechezkel, Hosea, Amos, they're talking to us. They're telling us what's happening. You want to know current events? You want to know what's happening? It's not the New York Times that has any clue. But we have to have within us that inner strength to be able to see that Atzas Hashem Yitaku. Now, it's not easy. The road is long. There are many, many bumps. But take a look at our city. Take a look what has happened there. And never in the history of Yerushalayim has it had the population that it has today. The numbers. Look at the Torah that it has. Look at everything else that it has. And this is all swimming upstream against a world that doesn't want to recognize. So all of these things have great value to us, but only if we do something with it. Only if somehow we do something with it. And the Torah teaches us, the Lord provides us with opportunities. He provides us with situations. What we do with it is not foreseen that we have to do anything positive with it. We can, God forbid, forfeit opportunities. The Rebbeinu Shalom steers us back to things. We read in the Torah that our father Yosef, Yaakov Avinu sends Yosef to find his brothers. Yosef knows it's a dangerous mission, but if his father sent him, he's going. And he can't find them. They're not around. So in the Torah it says, "Vayimtzoeu ish." All of a sudden, Hine husoeh basodeh. Yosef is wandering in the field, he's looking around, and there's a stranger there, a man. And he says to him, "Es achai anochi mevakesh." I'm looking, did you see 10 guys in black hats walking around here? And the man says, yeah, I saw them. Not only that, I heard Shamanti that they're going to Dotan, they're going this way. If you want to, you can catch them, you can go that way. So he goes, and then all of world civilization has changed. The whole story unfolds. So who is this man? So Rashi says he's the Malach Gavriel, an angel. Supernatural thing God sent him. The Ramban says, if Rashi says it's an angel, it's an angel. He said, but there's no necessity to say it's an angel. God operates through ordinary human beings. The man who gave instructions doesn't know that he's changing world history. He doesn't know what's involved. But because he is there, and Yosef chooses to continue, so then that's how the story is going to be played out. I was once it must be 35, 40 years ago, I was a scholar in residence in Los Angeles in a community of Old Bali Tshuva. Very beautiful community. But they pretty much didn't know much. Which is, I imagine, why they invited me. And they had, as the Gabbai, a professor at Caltech in physics, but he can't read Hebrew. So after the Kriyas HaTorah, somebody said to him, "Jeff, call up Hagba Galila." He said, "Okay." And with great fervor he said, "Yamod Hava Nagila." So half of me is on the floor, Hava Nagila. And the other half, I remembered about Shem's famous story about the shepherd with the whistle, that the whistle went straight to heaven. So I was walking home Saturday night, and I was walking home with Jeff. And I said to him, it's none of my business. I never usually pry. But what started you on your road? So he said, 2 years ago, he said, I'm riding in a car with my non-Jewish girlfriend to a concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And there is a very tall Mexican-American policeman at the intersection, and he is holding up all the traffic. And he doesn't allow cars to go through. It's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And my girl said to me, we're going to be late for the concert. He said, what can I do? And I can't run him over, But he honked the horn. In California, nobody honks the horn. In Israel, it's just a sign you're alive. It doesn't- But in California, they're laid back. You don't honk the horn. So when he honked the horn, the policeman came over to him. And he said, "Sir, what's the problem?" So he said, "What's the problem? It's 10 minutes and I can't get through the intersection, etc." So the policeman said to him, "Sir, tonight is Yom Kippur. And there are many Jews that are walking, and I'm under instructions that as long as they're crossing the intersection, there are a number of synagogues here, so we're holding up the traffic till everybody is done walking to the synagogue." So he said, "I thought to myself, the Mexican-American policeman knows tonight is Yom Kippur, and I don't know it's Yom Kippur. How could that be?" He said, "So that set me thinking." So I told him that's the story of Yosef and the man, right? The Mexican-American policeman, he's a malach. He sent him for Jeff. Now Jeff has the choice of what he wants to do after he finds out. The Rebbeinu Shalom gives us opportunities. Eretz Yisrael is an enormous opportunity. After thousands of years of exile, after all the troubles and travails, what are we going to do here? It's up to us. Yerushalayim is a gift. What do you do with the gift? You know, I'm a very good grandfather. I'm a great-grandfather. No. I'm a very good great-grandfather. So every so often, you know, you buy one of the little ones a toy. So what kind of toy do you buy? You have to buy the most educational, safe, long-lasting toy. You know, then you buy just, it's not a toy. So I spent a lot of good rabbinic research to buy the right toy, and I bring it to the child, who proceeds for the next hour to play with the box. And to a certain extent, that's us. We play with the box. Playing with the outside. But the Dvar Hashem Yokum is in the box. Do we see God in our lives? Do we see Him here in our city? Do we see Him in our country? Do we see what's happening? And are we willing to live up to the opportunities that are granted to us? And that is, and has always been, the measuring stick of the Jewish people. What do we do with the opportunities? Personal, national, religious, all of the opportunities. How do we respond to it? We can be a light unto the nations. Or lagoyim nesatichu.